Welcome to the Byzantine Coin Podcast. My name is Kyle Bolin, and this is episode 5. Today, we're going to talk about the upcoming Triton sale and the Byzantine offering at Triton and also in the Triton E sale coming up. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the coins coming up in both the Heritage sale that's coming up in like 8 hours. So, depending on when you listen to this, it might have already been gone and talk about some of the offerings that are coming up in future heritage sales. So, with that, let's dive in and we'll take a look and see what Triton has to offer here. Last week on episode 4, we looked at the Loy sale, which had an extensive Byzantine offering. I thought the prices were very strong in this sale. One of the things I wanted to highlight was the Leo the Third coin that was from Rome that had the Apostolo Zeno pedigree on it. That hammered for 8,500 Swiss francs, which was a very strong hammer. Given the pedigree, it's understandable. But I thought overall the sale had some strong prices in it, and then there was a few bargains in there too, depending on the coin that you went through. But overall, I thought prices were very strong. Switching to Triton. So Triton has a limited, I guess, a limited offering of Byzantine coins this year. Not as many as I'd like to see. About 20 lots, it looks like. But they're all very quality coins, and we can go through them. So, first off, there's two Anastasius, the first Solidus, or Solid Eye. Lot 803. It's a beautiful portrait. A full weight solid eye, nice portrait, full legends. There is some deposits, it looks like, around the legends, but a really nice solidity and a nice example. So I think that this should do well. And right now it's currently at $700. I expect that it'll probably go up. The other Anastasius solid eye that is in the offering is a really nice example, a great portrait, full legends, full weight. And it is a rare variety with a reverse PX on the staff, the Cairo on the staff that Winged Victory is holding. Very rare, not a lot of them out there. This is currently, yeah, it's at 2250 already, which is strong for this. I think that, based on this, it could go 2,700 to $3,000, maybe higher. I mean, it's a really beautiful coin. So first two off are those Anastasius examples, both excellent and beautiful coins. Next up, lot 805 is a Justinian Solidus. This is a full weight Solidus at 4.45 grams. This is an early type where he has the spear and shield motif going that has been going on since I want to say Arcadius. Uh, a three-quarter bust, spear behind the back, shield, and a warrior pose. Um, this is a nice example. They only made these for a couple years before Justinian changed up the design on the coinage to be a facing bust in Chalmers, I think. But at any rate, it's a nice coin, a nice strike, and currently at $800. Next up is a Tiberius the Third Solidus. First Officina. The Officina on these, of course, are at the end of the legend, and you see here there's an A there. That means it's the first Officina. This is a nice example. There's a little weakness on the obverse or on the shield, and on the reverse around the legend here at 1 o'clock. But overall, a really beautiful coin and a striking portrait. This is a nice example. It's at 4.41 grams, so uh, essentially full weight. It has a little bit of a pedigree uh, to Loy from 1991. Sorry, Loy 91 in May 2004. So I expect that will do pretty well. This is currently at $800. Continuing on, there's another Tiberius III at 950 right now. This is 4.44 grams. This is the fifth Officina. Again, striking portrait, uh, nice legends. It's a little off center, but there's no striking weakness anywhere to my eyes. I think that this will do very well, and is a nice example. So there's two really nice Tiberius the thirds here to pick from to go after. This has a little bit of provenance to 2009, um, but a very pretty coin. Next up is a Lot 808, which is a Justinian II Solidus. This is the second reign. This is a portrait of Christ uh, in the quote unquote Syrian style on the obverse, and on the reverse, you have the Emperor Justinian II and his young son Tiberius, who I believed had been named Caesar at this point. This is a nice example. There seems to be a little bit of a flan flaw or some sort of deposits here in the field next to the portrait, but it's a striking portrait, curly hair, great eyes on it, and a really good strike. And then on the reverse, a great strike as well. This, I believe, was 4.47 grams, so it's full weight. Um, and it's the only one that I saw in the sale that had any kind of real provenance. This is X Numismatic Fine Arts, auction number one from 1975. So it's got great provenance, great strike. Currently, it's at $1,400. I expect that this one will go quite a bit higher. Next up is Philippicus solidus. Let's see here. Really great portrait. In my opinion, of all Philippicus's portrait styles, this is the finest of the styles. It's a nice strike, great portrait. This is the type that has Philippicus spelled with two P's instead of one, which makes it a rare variety. It's Officina 2B. Um, Nice luster on this. There is some weakness from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock along the legends, as well as on the reverse. There's some weakness from like 7 to 10 along the legends as well. So there is some striking weakness there, but a really beautiful portrait and a beautiful coin and a rare variety. So currently it's at $1,000. I expect this will go higher. It also is from Economopolis Numismatics. Uh, if you've never met Nick, he's a great resource and a great dealer. I've purchased a lot of coins from him over the years. So uh, it does have that pedigree, although it doesn't have any kind of date to it or auction record. Moving forward here, this is a Constantine VI and Irene Solidus. This is a dynastic Solidus. Um, this is in the heart of iconoclasm. And so uh, pictures of the cross, Jesus Christ, Christian symbols are sort of scant on these, and they elected to go with the ancestors of the dynasty. Again, that's to drive legitimacy of the dynastic succession. On the reverse of this coin, you have the three emperors, and those are Leo the Third. Constantine V, and then Leo IV. Constantine VI is Leo IV's son, and Irene was Leo IV's wife. Um, Constantine IV passed away while Constantine VI was very young. So Irene took the reins of power, and you can see she's figured prominently on this coin with her son, and she'll eventually go on to take power completely for herself, and um, I guess in a non-motherly way, and where she had her son imprisoned and blinded. This coin, it's a nice strike. It's not, it's rare that you see all three of the dead emperors faces. Usually there's some weakness in one of the faces. The obverse strike isn't quite as good, but I think that it's still a very nice example. Currently, it's at $800. I expect that this will go higher. Next up is another Constantine VI and Irene. This time, the dead relatives are removed from the coin, and you have Constantine VI on one side and Irene on her own side, showing her growing power. This is a nice portraits. The legends um, are a little bit weak, but overall, it's not a bad looking coin. It's 4.43 grams. Um, and it's at $1,100. These typically go between uh, $2,500 and $3,500, so I expect that it'll go a lot higher. No provenance on this to speak of, but again, it's a nice example. This is another coin from Irene. This one has Constantine VI removed completely, and it is just Irene on both sides. The portrait here on the left, I don't know which side is the obverse and reverse on these since it's essentially the same portrait, but portrait on the left, you can see there's a lot of weakness in the face in the portrait. Um, and there's something going on the side there. I don't know what's happening there, but and then the portrait on the right is a little stronger, but there is some weakness along the shoulder and the globus crucible, whatever it is. Um, it's a little bit lighter, but these are super rare. Um, they are uh, always in demand. This currently has a price of 2250 on it. It'll probably go a little bit higher. Nice examples go for $5,000, $6,000. This is ex Harlan Burke as well, so it's got some good provenance with it to it as well. We'll keep going here. This is Nicephorus the First. This is a Solidus of Nicephorus the First, and this is an early version of Nicephorus the First before his son was brought in as co-emperor. You can see on the obverse you have the emperor, a portrait of the emperor, and on the reverse you've got the cross potent has come back, and it's got good legends on it. Nice coin. These earlier ones are rarer than the other ones. I think they only made them for a year or two before he associated his son with the imperial throne. Um, Currently at 850, I expect this will go higher. And then this one is again another Nicephorus. Here you can see the same kind of portrait style, but on the reverse, instead of the cross potent, you have his son Stavrakios. I'm I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but um, yeah, Nicephorus. He took the throne from Irene, essentially on the grounds that she was a woman. He was the imperial finance minister. Um, the tide was rising for the empire, and he he ran things for a while, but then he and most of the imperial court and the imperial armies went to Bulgaria, where they initially won several victories, but then were ambushed at a battle called Pliska, and the Bulgarian Tsar um, tore apart the Byzantine armies. They killed Nicephorus and reportedly turned his skull into a drinking cup for the Bulgarian Tsar. His son, Stravakios, or however you say it, he was gravely injured in the battle, but survived, and they brought him back to Constantinople, but he was paralyzed. His spine was severed, and he was emperor for about 3 months, maybe 2 months on his own, and until finally some of his generals took him down, and and then he was retired to a monastery where he died. But yeah, this Nicephorus, his legacy was his skull was turned into a drinking cup. So got to be careful. This is 4.39 grams. It's well struck. Nice coin. It's currently at 950. I expect that it'll go higher. Here we have a Michael III with Theodora and Thesia. Um, These are rare. I mean, in the last Heritage auction, there was one that was 5 of 5 starred that went for like $66,000 with the buyer's premium. I don't think that this would be 5 of 5, 5 of 5. It's got some a few issues on it, some scratches and some striking issues, but a very rare coin, and I think a chance to get an example at perhaps I don't want to say a bargain price, but at a reduced cost, put it that way. No bid on it yet. The minimum bid is $4,500 on it. Um, these are super rare, so I expect that it'll get that. It'll catch a bid, and and we'll go for more than that. But a chance to get a budget example, perhaps. This coin is a Leo the 6th with Constantine the 7th Solidus. Um, it's currently at $5,500. These are very rare. Um, I think this is a really nice example. Great strike. I believe it is, yeah, it's full weight. Um, in their description of it, they talk that it has spots of tooling on the obverse. I'm not sure where I see that. Maybe I don't know. But overall, it's a really nice coin, and it's getting a strong bid. So I expect that it'll go up from here. But a really beautiful coin and a really beautiful example and rare coin of Leo the 6th. This is a Constantine the 7th with Romanus the 1st Solidus. It's 4.39 grams. It says it's a rare first issue that they put out with Romanos the 1st. Constantine the 7th was a young child when his father passed away, and he had a regency. And the regency fell apart, and an ambitious admiral named Romanus came up and sort of took things over, and they called it, it was a gentle usurper is what he's called, or a bloodless coup, because he took over, but he didn't kill Constantine the 7th. Instead, he married his daughter to her, and reigned in his name as senior emperor, and essentially, um, you know, locked Constantine the 7th away in the palace, and ran things. And Romanus the 1st was a very competent emperor. He did very well. His surname is Lekapinos, and you'll see that name inter intertwine with the Macedonian dynasty going forward. Um, so anyway, this is the first example of that. It's a rare example. It's currently at $1,000. I expect it'll go much higher. This is a beautiful coin. This is a Romanus III Millarison. Gosh, I'm having trouble pronouncing things today. I apologize. It's a gorgeous coin. It features the Virgin Mary holding the baby Jesus on the obverse and the Emperor on the reverse. It just has a presence to it. It's a larger coin. These are very rare. They're very sought after. I think the bid on this is $1,800. One thing I will say, I mean, it's not the condition wise, there's a lot of marks on it, and some wear, but there's also a flan crack in it. And that, for me, the flan crack is sort of, a deal breaker. I hate to say that, but it is a really nice coin. I've never owned an example of this. It's from Triton in 2021, but they're very rare and very beautiful. Currently at $1,800 for bid. I expect this will go higher. And this is a Constantine the Ninth Tartaron. On the obverse, you have a portrait of Christ. On the reverse, you have a portrait of Constantine the Ninth. A little bit of striking weakness, it looks like, and a little bit of wear on this, but these Tartarons are rare. Nobody really knows why Tartarons were minted alongside of Histamendons, the cupped coins, or the Sky Fate coins. Um, but they were. They must have had some sort of purpose, and they were minted in lesser quantities, or put it this way, they're found in lesser quantities than the Sky Fake coins. Um, this is at $700. I think that this will go for 15 or $1,600 when it's all said and done, maybe higher. But you just don't see these very often. Come to market. They're rarer than the Sky Fake coins for sure. Next up, there's a lead seal of Theodora. I don't know a lot about seals, and I know there are people that focus specifically on these. This is a really, I think, a nice example from a very historical figure, an empress like this, and it's a nice imprint of the empress on the, I guess it would be the reverse of the seal. No bid on this yet. Again, like I said, I don't know a lot about these, but just looking at this, I can tell you it is rather impressive. Both portraits are impressive, and if it's an imperial seal, who knows? Maybe the Empress held it herself. With most coins, it's pretty good bet that the Empress did not hold those coins, unless it was like a bola or something, a presentation piece. It's a pretty good bet. But with a seal like this, I mean, it's possible. It's possible that she could have held the coin. So, yeah, I mean, it's always fun to kind of think of that kind of thing. Um, so, uh, we'll see where this goes. Again, I don't really know much about how these are priced, but it is fascinating. It's ex Jonathan Kern and ex Peter Marani collection. So it's got some good pedigree. It was ex Gemini in 2008. Um, so we'll see what happens, but fascinating piece for sure. Another seal, and this looks like it's Um, again, I'm not going to try and pronounce what it is, but it seems like it has the Hagia Sophia on it. Um, and it's the seal of the person in charge of it, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the Ikadokai of the Hagia Sophia. Again, nice seal. Yeah, it says the I'm not going to pronounce it. We're a college of priests responsible for the administration of the holy sites who additionally carried out a judicial function. Okay. Um, but you have a nice a little bit of a rendering of it looks like of the Hagia Sophia on it, which is nice. So again, a nice historical piece. Don't know where it will go. I have no idea um what these go for, but currently it's at $900, which it's got a bid on it, so we'll see what happens on it. But two nice seals in this. Finally, last one here is Theodore Comnenus Ducas um, as the Emperor of Thessalonica. It's a silver trachy. Nice example, sharp, very sharp. The fields are very clean. The devices are sharp. This doesn't look like it's really seen any circulation. It's a gorgeous piece. It's currently at $1,600. I expect something like this will uh, go for more, given the fact that it's probably one of the best examples out there of this type. Really beautiful. So that is the end of the actual Triton sale from a Byzantine standpoint. Um, the Triton E sale has a number of Byzantine coins in it as well, of varying quality. It's sort of unimpressive to be honest. But there are a few that I would highlight here. Um, I'll start off with this one, lot 6206. This is at 4.03 grams. It's a lightweight solidus of 22 siliqua um, from Constantinople. It is a variety, though, that has the emperor with a beard of mourning on that, which I believe is not recorded in the sources. And it's a rare variety. I think there's only one or two of them out there like this. Now, of course, this must have been a fresh dye um as the beard is very fresh. The stubble is very fresh in this. I mean, I'm sure as the dyes got used, the stubble would start to go away on this, and again, helping to contribute to its rarity. It's not in great shape. It's got some wear on it, and I would say and some scratches there on the reverse, but it is very, very rare. So I expect it's at $650 right now. We'll see where it goes. I expect it'll go higher. Um, but again, it's a very rare type. Next, I want to talk about this Tiberius II Tremesis from Ravenna. It is currently at $700. Anything from Ravenna Byzantine is typically going to be on the rarer side. This is the quality coming out of Ravenna was always very good. So you have this nicely striked Tremesis of Tiberius II from Ravenna. Um, it's got some marks on it and stuff, so it has seen a little bit of wear, but these are very rare, and this is a nice example, and it's currently at $700. I think that's all that I'm going to highlight from the e-sale. Well, take a look here. There's another lead seal. Let's look at that. There's another lead seal, this one of Michael the Seventh, Ducas. Um, Again, it's an imperial seal. It's XCNG. You got a portrait of the emperor and a portrait of Christ. Very similar to Solidus, or I guess that would be Histamendon dies. Um, of the time. But that's three really kind of cool seals in this Triton sale, both in the Triton um, catalog sale as well as the Triton E sale. Currently, it's at $150. I don't know where it'll go, but I feel like at $150, it's fairly inexpensive. So yeah, we'll see what happens on that. Yeah, I'm not going to highlight any of those. Okay, so let's move on now to Heritage. Heritage has got a sale coming up here in now 7 hours. I've got a couple of examples from that sale coming up. This is another Michael III Solidus. Again, we talked about how in Heritage recently there was a example that was 5 of 5 with a star that went for $66,000 with the buyer's premium. This is a nice example, certainly not perfect. You know, there's a ding in the field on the obverse, but it's a nice example. They gave it an AU, so they didn't call out scratches or anything like that or on this, but they gave it an AU 5 of 5 strike, surface 4 of 5. Um, I think that this is going to go higher. Obviously, it's at like what with the buyer's premium $6,300 right now. But it's a nice example of a rare coin. So if you were the underbidder on that one that went for $66,000, this might be a nice consolation prize. And then there's also one in Triton that we talked about too. So there's a couple examples out there. So if this is one of the coins you're targeting, you have had a couple to pick from this year. We'll see where this goes. It's a nice coin. Next up is another Michael III. This one is one with a portrait of Jesus. Iconoclasm had been officially reversed at this point, and so they started putting a portrait of Jesus Christ on the obverse of these coins going forward. Again, this one has no negative comments on it. It's AU with a 5 of 5 and 4 of 5. Nice example. Um, Currently, it's at $6,000 with the buyer's premium. One of the things, I mean, Heritage is like a highly attractive example, and then the highest certified of this rare issue. Yeah, so it's top pop. Ancient coin people can't stand that term, but apparently this is the highest certified of this type, and it is a nice coin. There's no doubt about it, and it's a rare coin, so I expect that it'll go higher than this. These typically go for um, a fair amount more, so we'll see where this one goes. This is another Michael III. Um, he got the epithet the drunkard because apparently he liked to party, and the fact that he let one of his favorite drinking buddies rise up through the ranks and then made him co-emperor with him. He liked him so much, and then Basil the First was Basil was his name, and then Basil the First eventually felt like he was starting to fall out of favor with Michael III, and then had him murdered and took over. So they gave him a negative epithet, but he seems to have been a fairly competent emperor from what we the sources tell us. Again, this is another example with Christ on the obverse and Michael the Third on the reverse. This is Choice AU at 4 of 5, 3 of 5. It's a 4.39 grams, but they don't give it any kind of clip notation, which is good. And it says it has a slight bend in it. Doesn't seem to be stopping any buyers because the current bid right now is $6,000 at $7,200 with buyer's premium, and I expect that it might go higher from there. And in 7 hours when this auction goes off. So you'll be able to see pretty quickly how these three coins do from this auction that Heritage is doing this evening. Next up, Heritage also has a Byzantine focus sale coming up, I believe, and I believe this is one of them. This is an Anastasius the First. It's a it's in a 5 of 5 holder with a star. I mean, it's a pretty coin, beautiful strike, and it's got a real bold presence to it. So I can understand, I guess, why they gave it a star. I will tell you, I saw this one and another one we'll talk about sell recently. This exact coin sell recently on Great Collections, and they commanded gigantic prices. So either somebody bought it at Great Collections and flipped it to Heritage, or maybe even Heritage bought it and put it in their own sale. I don't know, um, but we'll see where this ends up going. Right now, it's at 1,050. It'll go much higher, and it's a really nice example. Some good Anastasius examples out there between Triton and Heritage right now. Next coin I wanted to highlight was this Justinian the second, second reign, and this is a Semesis. And the Semesises are the fractionals are rare, but the Semesis is the rarest of the fractionals. And this is by far one of the nicest ones I've seen. I mean, it's got just a tremendous portrait of Christ, the Syrian portrait of Christ on it. Um, Great details in the portrait, in the eyes, great details in the hair. And the reverse is quite nice too. It's currently at $2,800. Again, nicest I've seen, so it'll probably go much higher. We'll see. And what did they give this here? A 5 of 5, 4 of 5, and they gave it a clipped notation. But again, um, nicest example of this that I've seen ever come up. So. I expect that it'll go higher. Unfortunately, because it's something that I probably would have liked to have bid on, but I think that I'm going to be priced out on it. Next up, Theodosius III of Adramitum. There's two of these in the Heritage Sale, and they are, at least from the obverse perspective, I feel like they're the same die, or they're very similar, put it that way. These are rare. There has been some additional coins coming up as of recently. So maybe there was a mini hoard that was found of these. It used to be you'd see, one of these come up every 2 years or so, and now, we're seeing more of these come up. And then they get recycled from the Swiss auction houses to Heritage where they get slabbed. I don't know if that's the case with these, but at any rate, they're nice examples. This first one here, it's at $3,400 already. It's Officina I, I think which would be the 10th Officina. Um, but it's a really sharp portrait of this emperor who only reigned less than 2 years. Um, and it's got full legends on the reverse and almost full legends on the obverse. There are some scratches in the fields, but nothing that detracts from the coin too much, I think. So I think that this will go higher. It's a nice example. But if you don't win this one, you can always move on to the next one, which is essentially, like I said, very similar. There seems to be some die rust on this one in the field. Um, but again, a strong portrait, strong strike. Most of the legends are there. This is a different officina. It looks like an N on there, but um, and I think that they're even graded the same, 4 and 2 brushed and 4 and 2 brushed. Yeah. So you got two chances to get a really rare coin here, and both of them seem to be nice examples. I think obviously the one that's $1,100 is probably a little more attractive, in that it's not $3,400 right now, but I expect that this will go up as well. This is another Constantine the Sixth Solidus with Irene. Again, you know, a lot of times on these dynastic solidi, the faces of the dead emperors are weak or non-existent. In this case, I think you have a coin that has a great strike on both sides. What do they grade this? AU 5 5, surface 4 5 It's got a big flan um, on it. It's at $753. I think that this will go higher. I think this is a nice example. It's got some deposits and stuff and a little toning, but it's a nice example. And they didn't, that a lot of times they'll call out something on these, and they didn't do any of that on this one. So we'll see where this goes, but it's a nice example, and I expect that it'll go higher. Next up is an Irene Soul Rain Solidus. It's a sort of a different portrait style than some of our other ones, which I find interesting. They give it a mint state grade 5 of 5, 4 of 5 with no details grading on it. So it is really nice. It's got a nice tone to it too. So maybe it's got some old provenance someplace. Um, but it's a nice example. It's at $2,700. This is going to go, I think, for $5,000 or $6,000 probably, given the fact that there's no details grading on this. But we'll see where that goes. But it's an interesting coin, and it's um the portraits are of an interesting style. Nicephorus the First. This is again another early in his reign coin before his son was associated to the throne. It's got some deposits on it. They're rare, but again, no details on this at all. And it's a full weight coin. I expect that this, I mean, it's at $310 right now. I expect that this will go for easily $2,500, maybe more. Theophilus. This is an example. I like this example. There's some scratches on the obverse around the legends, but it's got a sort of interesting portrait style on the obverse, and on the reverse, it's quite nice as well. What did they grade this? So they graded that Choice AU 5 of 5, 3 of 5 with an edge filing. Yeah, and it's a little lighter weight too. So it's $525. We'll see where it ends up going, but I kind of I like I like this coin. It's got sort of a presence to it, I think. Um, and yeah, we'll see where it ends up landing. Basil the First, 4.37 grams. This one is mint state 5 of 5, surface 2 of 5, and it has a bent notation to it. It's at 1250 already. I think that this will go probably between 1,500 and $2,000, maybe more. I mean, if it's already at 1250. Um, nice coin, a desirable coin, and I think from a strike perspective, it's outstanding. I don't know why they gave it a surface of 2, maybe because it's bent. I don't know. Um, Let me see here. Yeah, I mean, it looks really nice. Hold on. Let me see if we can get a better portrait. Yeah, looking at that, maybe, I mean, maybe they gave it some points off if that's some wear there along the edge. I don't know, but it doesn't look like a surface of 2 to me. Again, I haven't seen it in hand, so, you know, maybe there's something there that I'm not seeing. But from the pictures, surfaces look pretty tight. And I guess maybe that's why it's got the strong bid. This is the Empress Theodora. It's a histamenon. This one is Choice AU Star, strike of 5, surface of 5, with some light marks, it says. It's already at $4,600 bid wise. These can go very high. They're very rare. Anything with Theodora is rare. And this is a really nice example. There's no doubt about it. Um, so we'll see where this ends up. But already the bid is there. Maybe that's because of the star, but I could see why they started. It makes sense. Nice coin. This is another Theodore. This one has got some scratches on it and some marks both on the obverse, scratches on the obverse, and then some marks on the reverse around the legend. But it's got a great strike of Jesus, and it's got a great strike of Theodora and I believe the Virgin Mary. And it says choice AU 5 of 5, 4 of 5. But for some reason, NGC decided not to call out the scratches or say brushed. I don't know. I mean, I think if you crack this out and you sent this back to NGC, you would never get this grade. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, there's clearly some pretty heavy duty scratches or cleaning marks there on this. But again, we'll see where this goes. It's at $2,300. I expect it'll go higher. It's a rare coin and it's a really nice strike. Next up is Alexius the First. This is a Mint State star, 5 of 5, 5 of 5. Hyperpyron. This is from the Jonathan Kern collection. I think some of these are being auctioned off to benefit charity, which is kind of cool that they would do that. Um, with the star on this, I mean, it could go anywhere. I mean, it's a nice coin, nice example, but this is going to get bid way higher than it probably should go. I mean, it's already at $1,600, and I think it goes way higher from there. And this is typically a coin that I feel like unslabbed, you can get a good EF version of it for $1,000. So, so keep that in mind when you're bidding out there. But if you want the highest graded one or you want one with a star, I don't know that there's many of them out there. So, yeah, I can see this going much higher. Okay, and then moving on to a different auction of Heritage has they have this Anastasius in here, and this is a 5 of 5, 5 of 5 Mint State example. It's a nice example. I'm not sure why they gave the strike five. I mean, there's some weakness there on it. Stylistically, it's average. Um, but if you want a nice example and you want one that says 5 of 5, 5 of 5, there's again not many of them out there. It's already $1,000, and we'll see where it goes from there. The final heritage coin I wanted to highlight um, for this episode was this Constantine the 10th, Choice AU, starred 5 of 5, 5 of 5. This is another one that I recently saw sell at great collections, and it went for a big price. Um, this is XCNG, I believe. It is very beautiful. I mean, it's got some really beautiful toning on the obverse around Christ, some purple hues on there. It's a nice coin. It is certainly, I can understand why they starred it. I'm on board with the star for sure. It's at $220 right now. It sold for a lot of money at Great Collection, so I wouldn't be surprised if it gets close to that, what it sold for, maybe $2,500. Um, but I can also see on a different day, these are seven, $800 coins, without the slab and the star, and sometimes you get some really nicer ones and they stretch to $1,500. But so you never know where it's going to go. But I think that it'll go higher than $1,500. I think it'll be $1,500 to $2,500 on this. So that's the final coin that I wanted to talk about from the upcoming heritage sales. There's a lot of good coins to look at and potentially bid on. A lot of great examples there coming up. Triton is going to be exciting. It always is. There is one last coin I wanted to talk about, and it might be a little controversial, actually. So we'll see on this. This is coming up in a Hirsch sale. This is a Constantine the Seventh. It has some provenance from a collection in the 1990s. It's sort of like throwaway provenance on it. And it's in German. I did read the translation before I did this, um, but to me, this coin does not look real. It doesn't look accurate. The style on it is all off on the Emperor. It's got sort of it, a style that's similar to like the Justinian the First, excuse me, Justinian the Second First Reign portraits of Christ a little bit with the Emperor. And if you look at it and you do comparisons on it with ones that have sold before, it looks nothing like them. I gotta log in. Well, I'll just scroll through here, but all of these coins that have sold before that are Constantine the Seventh on his sole reign have the same type of styling to them. Um, and this one has sort of a radically different style. And they've got it at 7,500 euros. Now, listen, Hirsch has been doing this for a long time. They're a very storied and respected auction house. So they may know something. Certainly, it's probable they know something that I don't about this. I've just never seen anything with this style in both AC search and in some of the older catalogs that I've searched through that looks like this. Um, so and I've also never held it in hand too. That's also something that helps a lot. You know, you can only discern so much from a photo on the internet. The portrait of Christ looks stylistically right, but it looks a little, I don't know. It's everything about this coin. I don't want to say red flag, but it certainly says yellow flag to me. And I'd like to open it up to um, people listening to the podcast or looking at this to get their opinions on this because I'm curious to know what everybody else thinks on this. I don't think it's real. And then, depending on what everybody says about it, maybe reach out to the auction house. Uh, but I don't have anything definitive proof wise. It just the style looks completely off on it. So anyway, let me know what you think on this Constantine the Seventh, and I'd be excited to hear other opinions on it. So with that, that wraps up episode 5 of the Byzantine Coin Podcast. Coming up is the New York International Show. I will be attending, let's see, Thursday through Saturday. I'll be at the New York International, walking around looking for cool coins, probably spending too much money. Um, but I'm looking forward to seeing uh, everybody that I usually see there, and hopefully some of the people listening to this will be there as well, and look forward to meeting people. So please let me know if you're going to be at the New York International. I'd love to meet up and chat, maybe have a beverage. So with that, looking forward to New York International and looking forward to the Triton and Heritage sales, and we'll be looking forward to doing episode 6 in the coming weeks. Thank you for listening.